Okay, here we are in Chapter 3. This chapter is a lot about integration. Quick word about where we're going this week. We've got the assignment here and the interactive quiz and mind tap. And let's see. Move that over so I can get to that. We also have a video that we're going to be looking at, which is part of the Conference on World Affairs, and that's about an hour video, but it's really interesting, and I'll get to that in a minute. But first about integration, which is basically cooperation amongst trading nations. So what are some of the big trading blocks that you can think of? What are some big ones? Well, obviously there's the EU and NAFTA, which has been renegotiated, I guess. So there's a lot of things that are going on in trading and trade blocks. The question is, what is it that makes people want to set up a trade block? Is it purely geographical? Because usually two nations next to each other, it makes sense that they should trade and drop some barriers. So that's one of the things that you want to do, is make sure that you can drop some of the barriers that you're looking at. I'd say that one of the important things also is to take advantage of economies of scale and new markets. There's a brand new market opening near you. Why not take advantage of that? And then there are also new markets. There is also peace and cooperation that comes from international trade. And I would say, lastly, that there's overall economy does well by increasing trade. So that's what we're looking at for this week here. Let's go to week 3. So a couple of good things about trade are pretty obvious, I would think. But some of the bad things about trade, well, is it fair? When you set up a cooperative agreement with one nation, is that unfair to another nation? Just by nature, it probably is. So there's a question about that. There's also a question about imposing our laws or one nation's laws onto another. People question whether or not they're losing their independence by moving towards trade. And, of course, there's a big job question. Looks like we've maybe in America lost some jobs to trade. Have we gained jobs through trade as well? Possibly, maybe not. So that's what we're looking at here, the good and the bad about that. Talking about the geography of various trade nations. Again, in the region it makes sense. That's why you have trade blocks such as the EU and NAFTA, which is the American-Canada trade agreement thing now. Same thing as before, basically. And ASEAN, A-S-E-A-N, Associated States of Southeast Asian Nations. That's the Southeast Asia. Mercosur is another region there. So there's dozens, really, of groups that come up with favorable trade agreements. So it's important for that to happen. So we're going to study kind of the major guys, which would be EU. And even though NAFTA's not there anymore, it's similar to what's going on now. So we'll take a look at that. So here down below is the chapter and some of the comments. Here is the channel, the panel for the discussion. I'm going to go right to that. This is a Conference on World Affairs panel that I was fortunate enough to be a moderator for. I'm not the expert, but this is the Conference on World Affairs up at University of Colorado. Very cool, interesting international stuff that goes on there. I would love for you to look at more, but this is the one that we're going to observe and comment, and that is the only discussion for this week. So that is what we're doing in class. I think that's pretty much it. There's nothing complicated on the turns, so enjoy the video, and we'll see you soon.